What's up guys, it's Josh here and welcome back to a new Sorare video. The support on yesterday's video was unbelievable. I think we're already on over 100 subscribers now, so that's really good to see. And for anyone that doesn't know, on my Twitter, there is going to be a giveaway for any of the new subscribers over the next 7 days. I'll be giving away up to 3 limited cards, so make sure you go over to my Twitter, link is in the description to get involved in that. Transfer window is well and truly upon us, and what I thought I'd do in this video is give you a few options of players that I think are going to explode on Sorare, assuming they can get the transfer that's right for them this summer. So I'm going to go through 10 players. Hopefully some of these players can get their moves away and really push on to the next step in their career. For anyone that is new to Sorare, make sure you do sign up using the link in the description. You'll get a free limited card upon signing up and buying 5 cards on the auction house. You don't want to miss out. Definitely gets you a step ahead of the game when you're first starting out. So make sure you go and do that. Anyway, let's get into the video and we'll start out with number 1. So on the number 1 option that I put forward for this video is Mateo Kovacic, and he is an unbelievable player. If you ever watched him at Chelsea, he's so silky on the ball and reminds me very similar. Well, he's a very similar sort of player to like an Ilkay Gundogan, who, as you may know, is potentially on his way out of Man City. He hasn't made his final decision yet on what he's going to do, but can quite possibly see him leaving. And Kovacic and Man City are in talks to potentially bring him over to the Etihad next season. So I think that could have a really positive effect on his scores. You'll see here he's currently trading for around £16. He has shot up a bit recently. You'll notice here because of the links to Man City. But you'll notice that he's a pretty inconsistent scorer, but he can score pretty high peaks if he does get a decisive. So maybe moving to City and playing under Guardiola, he'll be able to push on, start getting a few more goals and assists, and really help push on his career. So moving on from Mateo Kovacic, we have Leo Abada, and I've been watching Celtic now for a good year. Last season they were really enjoyable to watch. Shout out to all of the Celtic boys on Twitter and some of the new boys on YouTube as well. Really got me into watching them, and Abada is one of the most exciting young talents to come out of Scotland this year. He's electric quick and he's got good dribbling ability, and I think if he can either get some game time next season or potentially move to a club in a again a similar sort of league like an Eredivisie or JPL, he will be able to push on and get some really good scores next year. You can see he does have peak scores in his locker, but he does often not score too great just because he will often come off the bench. So if he can go and become a regular starter somewhere, I really think he can push on and become one of the biggest under-23 forwards on the platform, because I do think the talent is there. Let me know what you think if you're a Celtic fan. Do you think he is all that he's hyped up to be, or not? Number 3 on this video, we have SaintMaximin, and SaintMaximin is one of the most talented and one of the most gifted footballers out there in Europe at the moment, but he doesn't do anything with it. I've heard that he does want to stay and fight for his place over at Newcastle, but if he can get a move away to maybe France, or I could see him fitting in really well at in the Spanish division, so in the La Liga. I really think he could push on and become a much more important player for a club than what he is at Newcastle. So you'll notice that he's only about a tenner at the moment, and when he plays well, he can score some really good AA, and he can get his decisives as well. So I really think he's a good option. Probably wouldn't cost too much now as well. I think pushing it, he's 26 now, so you never know, Newcastle might decide that they want to cash in on him and bring someone else in who's going to give them a bit more end product in the Premier League. Number 4 is a player that Sorare managers know very well, a bit of a cult hero a few years ago when he was at Ajax, which is Ryan Gravenberch. And he's been pretty much on the bench the whole time at Bayern Munich. You'll notice here that he, really doesn't score too well currently, often making appearances off the bench. And yeah, no decisive actions in that time as well since he's been there. So it's not looking good for him. I've heard that he does want to potentially move away from Bayern Munich to try and get some more game time. And you'll notice that if I click on all and go to his historical scores, you can see the moment that he joined Bayern Munich, because before at Ajax, he was an unbelievable scorer, scoring hundreds and high 90s on the regular. So yeah, I definitely think he's one to look out for because he does have that capability in his locker, and he's clearly a very talented player as well. The next player I'm going to go for is a bit of a weird one, which is Hugo Ekitike. Obviously, recently joined PSG last season, and this one might not need to be here because he might get a bit more game time next year if, well, obviously, with Messi leaving and potentially Neymar on his way out as well. So he's a really, really exciting young talent, only 20 years of age, under 23 eligible till 2026. And yeah, I'm going to put him in this video because I think if he went to a smaller club and was the guy, like the main man, I think he could really push on and become a really, really fantastic player. He does score pretty good when he plays and when he scores. Not a massive AA game, but if he can get into a club where he's the play is being dictated around him and not Messi or Neymar, he can definitely push forward and I think have a really, really good season next year. Another player who's been heavily linked leaving the Premier League is Hakim Ziyech. And Ziyech, if anyone knew him at Ajax, he was one of the most talented players in Europe. And I still think he is. I still think he's got that in his locker. He's performed amazingly against the likes of us. I'm a Tottenham fan. He performed amazingly against us, and he's still got that in there. And I still think he can do a job at a big club. Maybe not necessarily Chelsea, but I think if he moves to maybe somewhere slightly lower down, maybe someone like an Aston Villa sort of level of club, he can become the main man and be a star at the team as well. He can score very, very good. So you'll see he's got some really big peaks in his locker when he does play, and he does play well. It's just about trying to find that consistency and bring him into a more role that is suitable for his style of play. So I think he could really, really benefit from a move over the summer. Another cult hero for Sorare users was Joshua Xerxy. I think that's how I'm saying it. He, a few years ago, was an absolute beast of a scorer. I'm going to show you here. So you'll notice here when he was playing for, who was he playing for? When he was playing for Anderlecht, he was an unreal scorer and one of the best under 21 forwards, under 23 forwards on the platform. He's obviously now at Bologna and he's not doing as good, but he did score in his last game. But if he can get a move away where he finds some form and revitalises what he had at Anderlecht, he may well come back into stride and become one of those more favourable under 23 forwards. He's a really talented player as well. I've watched him a couple of times, and I definitely think he's got it in his locker, and he can definitely push forward and become the player everyone thought he was going to be a few years ago. Moving on, we've got Musa Dembele, and Musa Dembele has left Lyon. He's currently a free agent, and there are links with him moving to Galatasaray. He is a European quality, proven striker, and him going to a club like Galatasaray at only 26 years of age, he could really push on and put up some amazing numbers in the league next year. So there are some links with him going to Saudi Arabia, so I'd maybe be careful of that and keep an eye on it if you are going to go pick one up. Trading for around 12 to 13 quid at the moment, but he is a fantastic player, and in a lower league, I think he will tear it up. So keep an eye on that one. Number 9 for this video, we have Adama Traore. And Adama Traore is one of those players that has never really lived up to the hype that anyone thought he would reach. He's out of contract with Wolves in June, so no one really knows where he's going to go. But I think if he can move to a club and pick up some form and maybe move to a smaller league, or maybe go back to Spain where he will be the main man at a team, someone like Sevilla or someone like that, I really think he could pick up some form and become one of the best players on the platform. Bit of a stretch maybe, but I do think he can drastically improve on these kind of scores. So I think he's one to look out for and see where he goes. But he's a very talented player, and he's obviously got the capabilities to become a good SO5 scorer. Final player for this video is a player that I hold near and dear to my heart, Tangi. So I'm a Spurs fan. This guy is due to come back to Tottenham this summer, and I've heard that he is looking to fight for his place under Ange Postecoglou. So I think he would fit Ange's system quite well as one of those more attacking number 8s. But I'm not sure if he really has the work ethic to play under a Postecoglou system, because he is a very high pressing manager. If Ndombele can get a move to a club where he is the guy, the man, I think he can go to the next level. He is one of the most talented players I've ever seen kick a football. He's got such a low centre of gravity when he plays, and he's just so hard to get the ball off. If he can sort out his attitude or move himself into a club where he can be that luxury player, I think he's going to be an absolute beast. So definitely want to keep an eye out on, and he's only £4 at the moment. So you'll notice his scores are not good at the moment. Hasn't played for the last few weeks as well. But for next season, I think he's definitely an option, definitely someone you should consider. So yeah, I think that's it from this video. Thank you for watching. I do really appreciate you being here, and again, the support on the first video that I released yesterday was unreal. So if you can, leave a like and drop a comment below, let me know what sort of content you want to see on Sorare. I'll be more than happy to get around to it. I'm going to try and post a lot of content on this going forward. So till then, have a good rest of your day, enjoy the sunshine, and yeah,